Number 1. The difference between a graveyard and a cemetery is that a graveyard adjoins a church, while a cemetery does not. Number 2. The use of tombstones may go back to the belief that ghosts could be weighed down. Mazes found at the entrance to many ancient tombs are thought to have been constructed to keep the deceased from returning to the world as a spirit, since it was believed that ghosts could only travel in a straight line. Number 3. In 1785, the city of Paris removed bones from cemeteries to ease the overflow of dead people. They took these bones and stacked them in tunnels now known as the catacombs. You can visit these tunnel attractions and work your way along long corridors, which are stacked with skulls and bones. Number 4. An east-west orientation for gravestones is the most common throughout the world. Early American settlers wanted their feet pointing east and their heads toward the west, so they were ready to rise up and face the sun of a new day when they hoped to be reborn. When the rural cemetery movement became popular in the 1830s, graveyards were constructed with winding roads, hilly terrain and stones facing different directions. Number 5. Blair Witch, from the 1999 horror movie, The Blair Witch Project, is based off of this woman who was from the 1600s. She immigrated from Ireland and used herbal healing methods, and was accused of being a witch. She was chased out of her home and froze to death on a rock, which now serves as a gravestone memorial for her. Number 6. There is a belief that if a woman is buried in black, she will return to haunt the family. Number 7. Before the 19th century, there was no such thing as a cemetery. In earlier days, most families buried their dead on their own property. Eventually, families began burying their dead on the grounds of the churches they attended. When churchyards began to become overcrowded, however, what we now think of as cemeteries came into existence. Eventually, cemeteries developed into the park-like spaces we know today. Number 8. Throughout much of European and early American history, graves were protected by an iron cage called a mortsafe. The mortsafe served four primary purposes: to prevent grave robbers from stealing jewelry off of the decedent, to prevent animals from digging up the grave, to keep people from sitting on the gravesite, and to keep the decedent from digging themselves out of the grave as a zombie or vampire. These fell out of fashion in the 18th. Number 9. Everest has what is called the graveyard in the clouds, which is from hikers dying that haven't been found or are unable to be recovered, but from time to time their bodies reappear after a glacier move or avalanche. Number 10. An epitaph is a short text inscription on a tombstone or memorial honoring a deceased loved one. Historical epitaphs often administered warnings about the certainty of death. Some even gave hints of the person who may have caused the death. As attitudes toward death changed, epitaphs changed to convey hope, grief, or even humor like a "I told you I was sick."